Hey everybody, Brett from AstartesGaming here, and today I'm going to let you guys choose our next Let's Play series. I'm going to go through not all of my games on Steam, but some of the ones that stood out to me for the next series. I am going to leave it, nope, wrong way, over there so you guys can see my entire Steam library. The game you guys choose doesn't necessarily need to be from my Steam library, just that might give you some ideas. But I'm also going to go through my current Steam wish list, and we'll take a look at a few of those games as well. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump in. So as far as games that I had been kind of tossing around the idea of playing next, Age of Wonders 3 was one of them. This is like a turn-based 4X game, very similar to the Civ series, but in a fantasy setting. Pretty fun. I am not particularly great at it, but I do enjoy the game quite a bit. Antharian was another game I had sort of tossed around the idea of. I haven't actually played Antharian, but I am familiar with the game. It is a old school. I mean, it's not an old school game. It is like an old school game in that it is a party-based RPG with turn-based, sort of like Final Fantasy style combat, and it has, as you might be able to see in the background there, very simple pixelated graphics, but it's a cool game. I was given a press copy and never really got around to trying it out, and so I would like to give it a shot. Arma 3, I've got Arma 3 stuff in the works, sort of. I was working on quite a bit of stuff for Arma 3, and then Apex. Well, Apex didn't come out yet, but it is coming out very, very soon, and so I didn't want to be sort of behind the curve on that. I don't want to put a bunch of Arma 3 stuff up right before Arma 3 Apex comes out, and then I'm, behind because everybody else is playing Apex, and we're still playing with all these old Arma 3 things, so working on Arma 3 right now. Battle Brothers we haven't touched in a long time, and the game has been updated quite a bit. The mechanics are all exactly the same, but there is a lot more enemies and items in the game, as well as a sort of tutorial of sorts. So that's another game that I am very fond of and wouldn't mind taking another look at. What else do we have? Blood Bowl. We were already playing Blood Bowl, but if you guys would like to see more, we could always do that. Cortex Command. We haven't played Cortex Command in a while. If we did another series on it, I would not know what to do because I am tapped for ideas with that game. We've done a lot of different mods, a lot of different campaigns. We've done RPG overhauls. We've done just about everything we can do with this game, and it is a pain in the ass for me to record because of how awkwardly the game is set up. But if you guys would like to see more Cortex Command, we could always do that. What else? Dragon's Dogma, I'm a little bit bummed that the series I started on it didn't go so well, because that's one of my favorite RPGs of all time. What else do we have? No, not Gene Forge. I wouldn't mind taking a look at Hardlands, but if we did, it would be like a one-off episode because there's not enough in the game to do a series on just yet. What else do we have? Kerbal Space Program was one that was mentioned previously. If we do a Kerbal Space Program playthrough, it's going to be a very extensively modded one, and so that might take some time for me to set up, but if you guys would like to see that, we can most certainly do it. What else do we have? Mass Effect was something that sort of popped up in my head because I realized that next year is the 10-year anniversary of the first game, and so I thought it might be cool to do something in honor of that. I'd like to do all three games and probably mod the heck out of them just to kind of shake things up a bit. But I wouldn't mind doing that. It's going to be one hell of a commitment, so everybody's got to be on board if we're going to do Mass Effect, but it's definitely something I'm open to the idea of. Mordheim is another game I would really like to play on the channel. We took a look at it, but we haven't actually really played through the campaign at all. and I do quite enjoy the game, but I haven't had a lot of time to play it, and so I would love to do a series on it if there's interest, but again, that's your call. What else do we have? Pillars of Eternity, maybe? If you're not familiar with this game, it's similar to Antharian and other... Well, Antharian's not isometric, but it's an isometric RPG, sort of like Diablo, but with parties rather than one character. I don't know, does Diablo have parties? I don't think it does. I'm not a big fan of Diablo. But anyways, yeah, it's sort of... Well, I guess Neverwinter Nights would be a better comparison. It's almost exactly like Neverwinter Nights. So that's another game we could play. I don't think I've beaten this game yet because it takes a hell of a lot of grinding, and so it might not make for a great series, but it's something that we could take a look at. Running with Rifles, we're already playing. Shadowrun. I don't know how you guys feel about Shadowrun, but we could take a look at Shadowrun. This is an isometric turn-based RPG. There's a ton of cool stuff in the game. There's all kinds of player-created missions and stuff that we could do aside from the main campaigns. There's Dragonfall, Hong Kong. There's another game out as well. So there's a ton of Shadowrun games we could play. And then Sheltered was almost going to be posted in place of this video. I was on the fence about starting this series, and so I decided that I would leave it up to you guys. But had I not done this video, you guys would be watching part 1 of a Sheltered playthrough right now. So we could do Sheltered, most definitely, and we probably will at some point. But again, I'm leaving this one up to you. What else do we have here? Space Hulk. I don't know how you guys feel about Space Hulk. I really enjoy Space Hulk, but I've played a lot of it. But if you guys would like to see that, we can most certainly play it. What else? What else? Empire at War. I've actually only played, as you can see there, only 6 minutes of Empire of War. The game's kind of complicated, and I really want to kind of dive into it. But I wouldn't mind doing Empire of War and kind of learning it along with you guys. Although you guys are probably fairly familiar with it because it's a fairly old game at this point. So maybe you could teach me. But there's a lot to that game because it's almost like a Space 4X game combined with an RTS game. And so there's a whole lot of gameplay mechanics that you need to wrap your head around in that one. Let's see. Stellaris we've got going right now. What else do we have? TerraTech. I wouldn't mind doing TerraTech. I'm not super familiar with TerraTech either. But this is another one of those cool, quirky indie games, sort of like Cortex Command, that I don't think a lot of people are currently looking at on YouTube. I know there's a couple channels that did TerraTech pretty extensively, but I don't know that anybody is playing it anymore. And so that might be kind of fun to take a look at, but I don't know. What else? Shogun 2 is just about the only Total War game we haven't played yet. There's a lot of Total War stuff going on the channel right now, so I would not recommend doing another one. But if we do another Total War series in the future, maybe we'll take a look at Shogun 2. Particularly Fall of the Samurai, because that's my favorite part of Shogun 2. Total War Warhammer. I think we've got more than enough Total War Warhammer on the channel right now, but there's plenty of other factions to look at, especially with all the mods out now. We can play as some I guess, vanilla factions. I mean, they're vanilla factions, they're just not meant to be playable, and so we could do that. We could do, like, Bretonia. We still haven't touched the Orcs or the Vampires. I've played the Vampires in my own time. We haven't touched Chaos either. And then there's all the humans, dwarves, orcs, and vampires that aren't in the main factions that are playable through mods. And then what else? Valkyria Chronicles is a game that I really, really enjoyed. I was actually blown away by the depth and just the overall quality of the game, I guess. It is sort of like an anime-based game, but it is a turn-based strategy game that uses third-person shooter mechanics and has very extensive army management stuff in the game as well. And overall, I think this is probably my favorite. I would call it like my favorite sleeper hit of all time. Like, I don't think anybody knows about Valkyria Chronicles. It was released originally on console. I don't think it did very well at all. It was released on PC. It did a little bit better, but still I don't think it did very well at all. And then they re-released it fairly recently as like either a definitive edition or something. And I still don't think it got a whole lot of attention. And this game is honestly just like one of the best games I've ever played as far as just comprehensiveness. I'm not sure how to explain it, but the game, every detail, every aspect of the game is very well done. And I would not mind playing this on the channel at all. It does have a nice, very finite story, so it wouldn't be one of those kind of awkward open-ended playthroughs like we do with some of the Total War games. It would be, we beat the story, game over. So I do like that because it's easier on me to kind of plan things. So that's another good option as well. And then I was kind of thinking it would be fun to do a Xenonauts playthrough, but maybe a pretty extensively modded one, because I haven't played Xenonauts in a while. I beat it when it first came out, and I really haven't touched it since. And since then, there's been a whole lot of community patches and mods and all kinds of stuff for the game. And so I wouldn't mind playing it through again with you guys, but with some mods and some new content in it. So that would be kind of fun as well. So yeah, that's just a couple of games in my library that I would be interested in playing. Again, anything in my library or not in my library is fair game. Just let me know what you guys would like to see. But now I want to take a look at my Steam wish list and see if there's any games in here that you guys might be interested in. So I've got Apex for Arma 3 marked here. The Dwarves, I don't entirely know what that is. But these are just games I was kind of interested in. If I see anything that seems vaguely interesting, I'll wish list it and just kind of keep my eye on it. But let's see, RimWorld is one that I was considering for the channel. This plays a lot like Gnomoria. I think the G is silent in Gnome, but you probably wouldn't recognize it, like the word, if you didn't pronounce it. So Gnomoria, or Dwarf Fortress, I guess, assuming that you're playing with like that mod that makes it 3D. But yeah, it's sort of like a top-down Terraria with a whole settlement that you're working on. Seems pretty cool. It's not out yet. It's supposed to release sometime next month, so we would probably have time to fit another series in before we did RimWorld, but that's just one game I thought would be kind of cool. What else? Wartile is one that I actually haven't seen represented at all anywhere, and it looked pretty cool. It's like an RPG strategy game, but it's... Well, here, let's play the video so you guys can kind of see some... whatever they're showing off. It uses hex tiles, but they're raised and lowered, sort of like in Civilization. But each tile has like one like tabletop piece on it, and they're really cool. Like you can see in the video there, they're very detailed. Overall, the game seems really cool. I'm not sure how extensive like the campaigns and stuff are, if you have this giant faction, or if it's just sort of like one-off skirmish battles. Hopefully they go for something a little bit more epic than just, one-off battles, but we'll see. But this is a game I have my eye on, and so whenever it comes out, hopefully you guys are interested in it as well. What else? Dominions. I don't know how you guys feel about Dominions. I've never played a Dominions game, but they're very popular, which seems weird because the graphics and the gameplay seem so awkward. But it's, a grand strategy game, all things considered. So it definitely fits what we kind of do here on the channel. So I wouldn't mind doing it. Although I did just miss my chance to get it on sale. It was like $20 a week ago. But yeah, if you guys would want to see some Dominions, I guess we could do that. What else do we have? Stardew Valley. Everybody in the world's done a Stardew Valley series, so I'd probably prefer to skip that. 8-Bit Armies. I don't know how I feel about this. The game looks really cool, but it seems like one of those games that's probably a lot more fun in multiplayer, where I don't really do multiplayer anymore. I don't really enjoy the competitive aspect of games anymore. For those of you who don't know, I played Counter-Strike competitively for a long time, from basically 1.3 or 4 to Counter-Strike Source. Not a whole lot of Source, basically 1.3-ish, 1.4-ish to 1.6, and then a little bit of Source. But I played competitively in like, cash prize tournaments, not big ones, but I did play competitively for a while. And then I was playing StarCraft 2 for a pretty long time, like 2 years, in Gold League, and I never quite made it out of Gold League, but I played that well, I mean, that game's always competitive, but I played that for a while too, and so I just don't really enjoy the competitive aspects of multiplayer stuff anymore. I sort of like co-op and single player better now, just because it's more relaxing. I can actually enjoy the game rather than compete against somebody else and worry about winning. So this seems like one of those games where online multiplayer would be a blast, but I don't see the appeal anymore. It does have a single player campaign though, so it might be worth a go for that. It's fairly cheap too. Right now it's only $12.74. So the game looks really cool. I just don't know how I feel about it. So you guys can let me know how you feel about it, and maybe we'll go from there. What else do we have? Planetoid Pioneers. What is this all about? I don't remember, to be honest. Oh, this is like the follow-up to Cortex Command, which I'm not sure what the game is all about. It seems more like a modding tool than anything else. But yeah, it's made by the same guys as Cortex Command. You can tell it's very similar. So, yeah, there's that. I don't know that I would want to pay like $40 for a modding tool, though. It's basically just a tech demo at this point. Manowar Corsair. When that finishes early access, I think it's still in early access. Let's take a look. Yeah, it's still early access. When that goes to the full version, I'll probably do a series on it. But until then, I think we'll pass on it. What else do we have? Void Destroyer looks pretty cool. You start out with like a single ship, and you're supposed to conquer the galaxy. Cel-shaded graphics, which are always cool. And it seems like the ships can be like built, and they're very modular. So I'm not sure. They haven't shown a whole lot on it. I'm going to do some more research on it, but it comes out later this year, and I'd like to play it at least a little bit when it does. No Man's Sky, I'm still not sure about. Homefront, I don't know why that's on here. I don't think I'm going to bother with that, especially after the reviews and stuff I've seen. Yeah, No Man's Sky. Exanima looks really interesting, but there doesn't seem to be a ton of content for it yet. So that might be one that we kind of wait and see on. But the game is a very interesting little game. It's just, like I said, there's not a whole lot to it yet. Gothic Armada is another game I'd like to play because it's Warhammer 40k, so, we gotta play it at some point. Boundless. What is Boundless? I don't remember. Oh, it's like a sandbox MMO. It looks cool. I don't have time for MMOs anymore, unfortunately. But it is kind of a cool looking game. I like these guys. Like cat dwarves. Oh, come on, don't do this to me. Whatever. We'll go back this way. Okay, where were we? Boundless. Oh, we went past a lot of stuff. Whoops. Okay, what else? Timber and Stone is sort of a city builder. I thought I took this. I thought I took that off of this list. It's a city builder. I don't do well with city builders. Imagine Earth. What was that one all about? Let's see. Planetary colonization. Oh, that looks kind of cool. This is like another... I don't think you can quite call it a 4X, but it's very similar. It seems like a cool little game. Sort of like a simplified version of Stellaris. Maybe a little bit more sandboxy. That seems kind of cool. What else? I don't think I'd want to do an Oblivion series. I do want to get a PC version of Oblivion, though, because I've never played Oblivion on PC. I've only played it for PlayStation or whatever. But I'd like to get it on PC because I've never played it with mods. What else do we have? Skyworld. I don't know about any of these. Stonehearth is another one that somebody suggested a long time ago, and I have yet to see it go on sale. Otherwise, I would have grabbed it. But that is like a little, not quite a city builder. It's more of like a it's like a it's similar to crap. We just looked at it. I'm blanking. It's very similar to RimWorld, but it looks a little bit more like Minecraft-y. It's still the same. It's not top-down. It's more isometric, but it's like a colony management real-time strategy type game. And then Sovereignty Crown of Kings is another one that I've been on the fence about for a while. This game is a grand strategy game, or very close to one, that seems very interesting. The combat is like turn-based, I think. But yeah, it reminds me a lot of like Hearts of Iron or Crusader Kings and stuff like that, and so I felt like it might be a good fit for the channel. But I don't know, and I think they lowered the price, but for a long time it was fairly expensive, and 25 bucks it still kind of is. And I wasn't quite sure if I should take a flyer on it, but it does have pretty solid reviews, so that's another game I've been considering for a while. And that's pretty much it for me, so you guys can do with that information what you will, but if you have any suggestions that weren't in either my wish list or my current library, feel free to make them. Another game I had been considering for a while, and I actually glossed over another one. Let's go back to this real quick. And we have played this in the past, but it's one of my favorite games of all time, and the series that we didn't go so well. Was Mount & Blade Warband. So I would love to do a modded playthrough on Mount & Blade Warband. I tried to do one in the past and it did not get a whole lot of attention, but things change. So we could do like Prophecy of Pendor, we could do a Clash of Kings, we could do the Eagle, or however the hell you say that in French. It's like L'Aigle or something. But we could do that. What else? There's a Lord of the Rings one. There's all kinds of different Crusades era overhauls for the game. But yeah, I've been itching to play more Warband, and so that would be another one I'd considered too. And then the other thing I was about to suggest was Minecraft. And I know we just started and finished, well, not finished, we just started and abandoned the Minecraft series. But I think that the issue with that series was that it wasn't exactly what you guys are looking for in a Minecraft series, because my Ancient Warfare series did really, really well. And so my thoughts are one of two things is the case. Either everybody that enjoyed the Ancient Warfare series jumped ship already, or the survival series didn't have enough building and stuff for you guys, or enough mods, and so it just wasn't the right kind of Minecraft series. And so if you guys are interested, I could try to put together like a second Ancient Warfare series. We'll do different mods. Well, Ancient Warfare would more than likely still be in there, otherwise it wouldn't make sense to call it an Ancient Warfare series. But we would do, somebody suggested a long time ago, it's called like Millenar or Millionaire or something like that, but it adds more settlements and stuff and more dynamic world and, you know, all that crap. And we would do some other mods as well. I thought it might be cool to try to make like a Dwarven Ancient Warfare series, and I don't know if you can. I'm sure there's a mod for it somewhere, but play as like a dwarf, so have like a different character model that looks like a dwarf, and we'll build in like inside mountains and on mountains rather than like, you know, in big flat plains, and we would use stone rather than wood, and you get the idea. But I thought that would be cool. But again, I'm very hesitant because the other Minecraft series I did bombed. So if there are still people interested in like an Ancient Warfare series, please let me know, because otherwise I'm just going to assume that everybody who liked Minecraft on my channel already bailed, and so we'll just, you know, we'll leave the dead horse alone rather than continuing to beat it. But yeah, those are all my ideas, so feel free to make of those what you will, or let me know what your ideas are, and I'd be happy to consider them. I don't know how I'm going to decide. I guess if one game kind of gets like the consensus of everybody's attention, or, you know, if everybody has like more or less the same idea, then we'll go with that. If not, I'll lean toward whatever I think will be easiest to do a enjoyable series out of, or whatever I think would be the most fun. But yeah, please, please, please give me all your suggestions, and I will probably give a shout out, like a big shout out at the beginning of the series to whoever idea we go with. If it's several people, then everybody will get a shout out. But yeah, that's how we'll go ahead and do it. And so with that, we'll go ahead and end the video. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Please feel free to share my videos however you guys see fit. And I will see you guys back here for whatever series that you guys decide we want to do next.